Hi, dear friends. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you so very much for the company on this Saturday night. I truly do appreciate it. As you all know, I was off Facebook for a little bit, but now I'm back and I'm enjoying it as usual. Um, I just listening to that song, like I said, I have a new job now and I'll be coming on randomly. But you know that God will make a way. God will make a way, and we must learn how to lean on and depend on God. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will, and he shall, and he must direct your path. God will always make a way. Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Betty Riddick, mind, body, and soul expert, author, entrepreneur, spiritual coach, and international speaker. I offer hope in a dark world where people believe they can't be delivered from stress, depression, and anxiety like I was. Thank you so much, Izzy. Please believe, my friends, I'm not here to oppress you at all. Truly, I am not. First of all, I'm still in this tagline from a dear friend of mine. Guys, I'm just look at my earrings. I know you guys maybe you want to get some for your lady, but look at my earrings because my dear friend Celeste Barnes, she sells paparazzi jewelry, and I told her that red is my branding color, so I got me some red earrings, and I'm copying off of her. I know I was listening to her live on Facebook this week, and what she did was she gave all honor, all glory, and all praises to God, and that's one thing I want to do as well, Celeste. I want you all to know that, you know what? Here lately on Facebook, you all have been encouraging me. Even today, our dear friend that we grew up today with, Dodie, she says, Betty, I like your zest for life. And I had to let her know, you know what, my dear friends, if it had not been for the Lord on my side, I don't know where I would be. I truly don't know where I would be. So I give God all honor, all glory, and all praises. And I thank him for telling me that, you know what, Betty, I have assigned you your task, your healing ministry. And I truly, truly do enjoy this. Welcome back, Leo and Anthony. I appreciate it. And welcome for the first time, Izzy. I appreciate that as well. Now, my dear friends, this evening my topic is thought process. Thought process. One thing I want to mention to you all is that what I'm doing this time around with my healing ministry, I am going to be talking about power thoughts, renewing the mind. But what I want to do, I want to put a different spin on it this time. I don't want to talk about me so much and about how I was delivered from stress, depression, and anxiety. I was delivered from stress. I am delivered from stress, depression, and anxiety. But what I want to do is I want to gear away from so much talking about, my mind, my most precious commodity, about how I lost my mind and how God has delivered me. And I'm so grateful for that. But what I want to do this time around, I want to put a different spin on Power Thoughts, Renewing the Mind in my healing ministry. I want you all, hi, Carnisa, welcome, welcome, welcome. I want you all to realize that what I want you to get out of Power Thoughts, Renewing the Mind is how to change your thought process, okay? I want you all to change your thought process. This is what Power Thoughts, Renewing the Mind is. And when I think about thought process, all of us were raised up together, Izzy, Anthony, and Leo. Carnisa, you weren't raised up in Cumberland Gardens. But however, this will apply to you as well, anyone that's watching. When I think about our thought process, one time I did a video on paradigm shift. Paradigm shift. When I talk about the paradigm shift, I'm talking about the paradigm shift in our minds that could leave a thought process about how we were raised and what people said to us when we were raised. Even if it may have been our sibling, if it may have been our teachers, if it may have been our auntie, our uncle, our grandmother, anybody that may have said something to you in a negative way where it affects your thought process. What you have to do is learn to get rid of that thought process, because guess what? Like I said, it's obsolete, right? It's void. It's no longer, it's not true. It's not true at all. Now, as you all know, I love to share a story with you. This evening, I was going into Dollar General, my favorite store, and I was promoting my book and attempting to sell it for $10, and I ran into this lady. Keep in mind, God would always order your steps, my dear friend. God would always order your steps. So I was talking to this lady, and I said to her, you know what? I'm an author. I'm selling my book, Power Thoughts, Renewing the Mind. It only costs us $10. And as a matter of fact, her name was Kayla. And the only reason why I remember her name is Kayla because that's my granddaughter's name. So I got to talking to Kayla for a little bit, and she said, you know what? This book would be good for me because I am always depressed. I said, what? She says, yes, I'm always depressed. She says, I'm on medication right now, but I don't take it all the time. I said, what in the world is worrying you? I said, you know what, my dear friend, and to God be the glory, I'm not bragging. It's more blessed to give than to receive. So I said to her, I said, you know what I'm going to do for you, Kayla? Here, take this book. And what I had to do for her, my dear friends, is I had to explain to her, you know, what you need to do is renew your mind and shift your thought processes. Because don't you all know that if you don't shift your thought process, you're going to always have negative thoughts. And when I talk about shifting your thought process, don't think about the same thing over and over again that can bombard you, tie you down, and keep you down in your mind and depressed. Now, when I think about that, um, thought processes. Okay, you need to build yourself up. And this is what I told that lady this evening. And even if you are in a relationship, make you your number one priority. Make you your number one priority, because so many times in life, like I was telling this lady this evening, we get so caught up in everybody's business and how somebody feels about us. And she said she had just met somebody else too, and she felt like God is doing a work in her. And she said she's getting ready to start her own business. And when I gave her the book, I said, let me tell you something. There are going to be some people in your life that you are going to have to let go, because you're going to have to renew your mind, because your depression has to be eliminated. I said, do me a favor, Kayla. I said, please read my book and give me a call in the morning. And I gave her my business card, because, my dear friends, this is not about me. It's about God. I do not want your thought processes to be all over the place. It's imperative that you think on these things, as God would say. Think on the Bible. Think on good things. And when I think about your thought process, I'm reminded of my book, Power Thoughts Renewing the Mind, on page 4. And if you haven't gotten my book yet, my dear friends, it's very, very powerful. The link is here for you to order. It's only $10. What happened in the past, I had the book too high. I had the price at $20. So what I did was I brought it down to $10, because I really want you all to change your thought process. Do keep in mind, you know, any time that, you know, you're thinking and you're thinking and you're thinking, like I told this lady, get rid of your stinking thinking, okay? Get rid of your stinking thinking, because it will tie you up each and every time. Now, let me start Power Thoughts off Renewing the Mind on page 4. Let me start it off this way for you all. Don't you know, renewing the mind, by renewing your mind, I can surely assure you that renewing the mind and disciplining the mind is imperative, because what we put in our minds, the thought process, what you put in your mind are the thoughts that will come out of your mouth, okay? The thought processes that you put in your mind will come out of your mouth. And this is why I was, you know, it did hurt me to hear this lady say, you know, I'm depressed, I'm taking some medicine, but I don't like to take them all the time. And I told her, I said, you know what, I can understand you on that medicine. I wish I could see the doctor that labeled me bipolar and had me on all types of medicine. I told her, I said, you know what, I'm not even on medicines any longer. I said, so be careful of, you know, I'm not a doctor, but so many times doctors want to take and throw a pill on everything. And it's just like this opiate epidemic. I was watching 60 Minutes one night, because I recorded, and this man was on the segment, and he was talking about the opiate. And the interviewee said to him, he said, you know, you're going to take a lot of heat for this, because you're talking about a pharmaceutical company, and he was being a whistleblower. He said, you know what? He said, I'm tired of people dying off of these opiates. And the same applies to me. I'm tired of doctors, some doctors, I like to use the word some, not explaining to people that, you know what, change your the way you thought, the way you think. Change your thought process. Change your paradigm shift. Change the way you think about how you grew up, what was told to you. And like I said, discipline your mind as well on page 4. Discipline your mind. Discipline is key to life. So why not discipline your mind? If we discipline, work out, you know, and train our minds, we will always have positive thoughts. Positive thoughts are imperative, because like I said, what you put in your mind is what's going to come out of your mouth. So shift the way you think, your thought process. You know, just like some people go to the gym and work out, you have to work out your mind. Like last night, I put a challenge on Facebook last night. And what I did state, I said, how do you take care of you daily in regards to physically, spiritually, and mentally? And I had one respond, and she said, what I do is I meditate early in the morning. And as you all know, that's what I do early in the morning too. So keep in mind that you have to take care of your mind mentally, physically, and spiritually. It's imperative to renew your mind with power thoughts, renewing the mind. Get the junk out of the trunk. Also, when I think about how you start your day, don't you know that I remember in the past where I used to work, this lady, she said, oh, it's going to be a bad day. And I said to her, I said, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. Can you imagine if you wake up every day saying it's going to be a bad day, or even saying that, oh, I'm going to be so sick today. Oh, my head hurts. I have a headache. How in the world do you think your day is going to end up if you have those type of thought processes? You are truly blessed and highly favored of the Lord, and your mind should always be on godly thoughts. I know I said this one time in the past as well. Don't you know the best way to have good thought processes is to meditate on the goodness of the Lord. Meditate on the goodness of the Lord, or read you some inspirational books. You know, one thing about me is that I'm finding out when I go out into the community, I am meeting so many authors. And when I tell you I'm meeting so many authors, these authors are writing some powerful books. And let me tell you, the main thing they're talking about is your psyche. They're talking about the mind. They're talking about your thoughts. They're talking about how to get the devil out of your head. Don't you know the first thing that Satan wants to do is attack your mind? There's a saying, if they get the head, they got the body, just like a snake. So keep this in mind. Make sure that you always have power thoughts renewing the mind. Also, know this much. Don't you know that you have to protect your spirit? Protect your spirit by any means necessary. Don't you know that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power and a sound mind? You need a sound mind at all times, no matter what. You need a sound mind. As I always say, your mind is your most precious commodity. So protect it by any means necessary. Your thought processes are very, very imperative for you. You know when I look back over my life and I think things over, I'm so grateful that I have been renewed in my mind. And my assignment here is to let you know that, you know what? You too can be delivered and healed in your mind. Anytime that you feel like you're sick, or, you know, like me, I always say healer, healer, healer. Healer, healer, healer. You can even say that, hi, Ronnie, welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't you know that anytime that you feel like your thought process is off, just simply stop. And another thing I always say, take a breath. Protect your spirit, protect your mind, and just simply say in your mind, healer, 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 healer. Don't you all know that God can truly hear you and he answers prayers? He wants you to have your, what do I want to say? God wants you to have a good thought process. Have a good thought process. And when I think about thought processes, please, please be cognizant of who you are having conversations with. Be careful of who you are having conversations with, because you know what? Most people don't want to have, don't you know there's more negative conversations than positive conversations going on in our world today? You know, I have to tell you all this. I have to tell you all this. Don't you know that you have to be careful who you click with, or as we call your circle, or who you talk to on the telephone, because those type of conversations will affect your thought process. I remember I used to be on the telephone with some negative people, having some negative conversations, and me personally, I have never ever been one for the phone. And I know when I first started my healing ministry in January, I had told you all that I had laid down the phone, and I still don't talk on the phone that much, because don't you know some people you talk to on the phone, they don't have your best interest at heart, and they can tamper with your thought process. They can tamper with your thought process because their negative conversations, their negative ways can truly rub off on you. So be cognizant who you talk to. Who are you hanging out with? What are they doing to your thought process? Who are you hanging out with? Think about your thought process. Now that I think about it, protect your thought process as well. While you're protecting your energy, protecting your vibes, protect your thought processes. It's imperative. Protect your thought process. Don't you know the first thing that the devil will do is attack your mind? He will try to attack your mind, but you can't let him. Satan is busy. I got on Monday, I think it was Monday I had off. And one thing I can tell you all is that in these last days, these last dark days, Satan is busy. He doesn't want you to be the child of God that God has created you to be. And one thing I can tell you as well, one thing I am experiencing here lately are complaining spirits. Complaining spirits. Have you all encountered somebody that every time you turn around, all they are doing is complaining, 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 complaining? Don't you know that is why the Israelites, Moses couldn't even get the people to the Jordan. Across the Jordan, simply because they were too busy complaining all the time. They had a complaining spirit. So don't you know that when Moses died, he hadn't even taken them to the promised land. God had to give that assignment to Joshua. God had to give the assignment to Joshua to take the Israelites over to the promised land because they complained so much. They complained and they complained to Moses. And I can imagine that Moses may have got sick of it, because I tell you what, I cannot, and I promise you, I don't like to use the word hate. But one thing I can tell you all is I hate a complaining spirit. A complaining spirit will mess with your thought process. So if you're around somebody that all they do is complain, 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 and you know what? It reminded me of when I'm not kidding you all. I used to complain so much back in the day. I used to complain. It's a wonder why I was stressed. I used to complain so much, and don't you know, I complained so much to where the devil knew he had my thought process, because guess what Satan used to do to me? He used to walk up to me and say, "So what's going on with you today, Betty? How you feeling today?" And guess what? I will start with my complaining spirit. And that's what the enemy will do for you. He will come and attack you by saying, "Oh, how you doing today?" Specifically when all you do is complain like I used to. The Israelites couldn't even get to the promised land with Moses because they were complaining so much. And I was reading my Bible the other day, and sometimes I don't get this right, but I think I read or heard someone say that they should have actually gotten to the promised land in 11 days. They should have gotten to the promised land within 11 days, but because of their complaining and bickering and because of their thought process, they didn't even make it with Moses. Joshua, where God told Joshua, "Be strong and courageous, because you are going to have to lead these people over to the promised land," because they were complaining too much. So watch the complaining spirits that may be around you. They will affect your thought process. They will affect your thought process. Watch the complaining spirits. Watch your circle. Because one thing I've learned is that most people do not have your best interests at heart. And the first thing they want to do is mess with your thought process. I want to say thank you all for being here with me this evening. Like I said, I'll be coming in on randomly. I just came home from work today. I cut my grass, and I was like, you know what? Let me get on this evening, and let me share some humor with y'all. When I come home from work and it's nice outside, I want to go and cut my grass, and usually I cover my bald head, right? My sexy bald head. And I got bit by mosquitoes. I got 2 lumps in the back of my head. So thank God the mosquitoes didn't get me in the front of my head. And y'all would be like, "Oops, upside her head, oops, upside her head." But I wanted to throw some humor in there. Yeah, I got 2 lumps going on in the back of my head, the mosquitoes. So today, while I was out there meditating and reflecting and thinking on what I would discuss with you, I made sure I covered my head because the mosquitoes are really bad here in Georgia. But I just thought I would throw that humor in there for you. I want you all to know that I truly, truly do love you so very much. I appreciate your patience with me when I was off, but I'm back and I'm going to be coming up with more powerful topics for you. And like I said, I just want to, as you notice, I'm putting my book out there more. But what I want to do this time with Power Thoughts Renewing the Mind, I'm going to give you, some information out of my books because I want you to change your thought process, shift the way you think, shift the way you talk, because what's in your mind will come out of your mouth, and that's according to your thought process. Thank you all so very much for your company. Please know that I love you. Thank you for your support, and do me a favor, live the blessed life, not the stressed life, because you deserve. God bless you all, and I'll see you the next time. I'll be coming on randomly. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so very much for the company. I love you so very much. And if you haven't gotten the book, Power Thoughts Renewing the Mind, the link is here for you right now. If you want to order the book, it's $10, and the ebook is $2.99. Thank you so very much for your company, and I hope I've made a difference in your life. Live the blessed life, not the stressed life. Good night, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I love you.